2 winning weeks in a row, and now we try to keep it going. Photo Jack Gorman. Before we get to this week's best bets, I like to use the little preamble here to opine on some prop bets or random gambling minutiae before getting to the picks. This week, first, I want to congratulate Ryan Fitzpatrick, who was one of my winners in the Monday recap column. According to one online sportsbook, Fitzy is now a prohibitive favorite to keep Jameis Winston on the bench in Tampa Bay once Winston comes back from his 3-game suspension. Meanwhile, Winston is being sued by the Uber driver that he groped. Changing of the guard in Tampa, indeed. Now, on to the best bets, where we are riding a nice 2-week streak of 8-3-1 against the spread, so let's keep this money train rolling. Auburn -30 over Arkansas. Every few years, there will be a Power 5 team that just looks so overwhelmed that you have to keep betting against them week after week until the spreads just can't go any higher. The one that always comes to mind is Washington State back in the 2008 to 2010 timeframe, where they won 5 games in 3 seasons under the Gamblers' dream coach Paul Wulff. This year that team is Arkansas, who is coming off a 44-17 loss to North Texas at home. Auburn is coming off a last-second home loss to LSU and is going to be out for blood, now needing to run up scores to stay in the playoff conversation. That starts Saturday. West Virginia -16 over Kansas State. Speaking of piling on, West Virginia's game last week against North Carolina State was canceled due to Hurricane Florence, so Heisman candidate QB Will Grier has been off the grid while other candidates racked up numbers last weekend. I think Mountaineers head coach Dana Holgorsen is going to pile it on Old Man Snyder and company. West Virginia has a massive speed advantage at the skill positions, and they will exploit it. Northern Illinois 10.5 over Florida State. Syracuse was one of my best bets last weekend against the Seminoles as a home dog, and it covered by nearly 30 points, with the Orange winning outright in a blowout. We are 3 games into the Willie Taggart era at Florida State, and I can honestly say that this is one of the worst coached football teams I can ever remember watching. Now they get a frisky, salty Northern Illinois squad sandwiched in between 2 ACC games. The Seminoles have Louisville next week, and we are expecting them to cover double digits. Willie Taggart, keep spitting that cash for me. Ravens -5 over Broncos. The Broncos are 2-0 on the season, and were actually one of my best bets in Week 1, a win and a cover against the Seahawks. However, we can now begin to ascertain that Seattle and Oakland are just not very good football teams, and the Broncos beat them by a combined 5 points at home. Now, the Broncos go on their first road trip, an early kickoff in Baltimore against a Ravens team that had 3 extra days to prepare. I love the Ravens in this spot. Eagles -7 over Colts. Kudos to the Colts, who went on the road in Week 2 and won a street fight with the Washington Redskins. Andrew Luck looks closer to back to full health than he looks to, oh crap, that shoulder, which may be an issue for the rest of the AFC South, who'd gotten used to beating up on Jacoby Brissett, except the Texans, who are 0-3 lifetime versus Brissett. That said, the Super Bowl champs return home angry after a road loss to Tampa. Fitzy, and the Colts are having to go back onto the road for another game against an out-of-conference opponent, a weird schedule quirk, for sure. Frank Reich does have some familiarity with the Eagles, as he was their OC last season, but Carson Wentz is back this week, so I look for the Eagles' offense to roll. Patriots -6.5 over Lions. The Patriots are coming off an embarrassing loss to the Jaguars in Jacksonville, a 31-20 rout that was not as close as the 11-point final margin would indicate. Now they travel to Detroit for a Sunday night game, and the entirely overwhelmed Matt Patricia has to go up against Bill Belichick. You know how that goes in these parts, right Houston? The Patriots, in the last 2 seasons, are 5-0 ATS coming off a loss. I'll take some free money, please. Last week, 4-2 season record, the 1st of July 10, 58.8%. Listen to Sean Pendergast on Sports Radio 610 from 2 to 6 p.m. weekdays. Also, follow him on Twitter at http://twitter.com/StPendergast and like him on Facebook at https://www.facebook.com/StPendergast.